Hello, my name's Ken Knight. I'm from Princess Motor Yacht Sales. We're here today in Swanwick Marina to look around an absolutely stunning Princess. It was a model that was on display at the Düsseldorf Boat Show earlier this year, and it's one we haven't covered before because it's relatively new, and it's going to be my absolute pleasure to show you around this stunning new S65 that we have in stock. So just before we step on board, I think it's worth taking a moment and just admiring how this boat looks from the outside. This S65 is beautiful. I know I say that about all Princesses. I think they're elegant and very pretty, but this has a real muscular presence on the water. And right the way from this radar arch, which looks so much more integrated than anything else I've ever seen, all these beautiful curves, the use of colour, these large windows, you can see all this Pininfarina styling coming into play. And as we work our way down, we've got the Olesinski hull, these large scoops for air intake into the engine bays, the mouldings around the windows into the hull. It's just beautiful. It really is very, very impressive. So here we are on the swim platform. Generous as you expect on a 65-foot boat. This obviously is a high-low platform. We've got a tender garage here as well. So the tender garage can take a Williams 345. Usual sort of things on this boat. We've got our shore power coming in. We've got a Passerelle that will come out. It's a 4-metre Passerelle on this boat. It's symmetrical, so both the walkways either side are of equal size. On the port side here, we've also got a shower ready for when you come out the water to wash yourself off. And then we're greeted by this whopping triple sun pad here. So as we step up into the cockpit of this S65, it's no less impressive when you step on board than the looks from the dock. It really is wow. You know, it's a fantastic space, really generous. This triple sun pad aft, this lovely large seating wrap, this sort of nook of seating here on the starboard side. It gives you protection when you're underway, but you're still engaged with what's going on. It's really impressive what Princess have done with the design. And it has really borrowed the best parts of a V-class yacht, which is a single level yacht, where the aft deck is your main outside space, so it generally is quite generous, with actually what you get on F-class yacht, where you've got a Flybridge. So we have the best of both worlds in this boat. But one thing that's not in dispute is just how stylish this boat is. And when you look at things like these steps, they're practical with the rake on them, but they're desperately pretty. The stainless work, this sort of floating step arrangement is very pretty, but it is still practical. So when we look at the detail on board, this boat's set up for stern to berthing. We have a third helm station here. We've got our throttle controls for our MAN engines. So this boat is a really potent performer. We've got MAN V12 1400s. So it's lots and lots of power on this boat. You know, it does give you lots of flexibility. You can go really, really fast if you want to, but you can also just cruise at displacement speeds if you so desire. It really is up to an owner. The other thing that's noteworthy is we've got a new thruster system on board. This has got bow and stern thrusters, but they are E-Vision thrusters. So what that means is a much, much stronger system would have previously had. You know, maybe on boats of old, you'd have had a hydraulic system on the boat. You know, the electric ones, you're worried about the run time of them. That's really been taken care of with this new style of system as technology is developed. Neat arrangement, all just folds away. But I think what we'll do is we're going to explore the interior. So as we step into the interior of this boat, it is wow again. The sense of drama and presence is everywhere. The design of it is beautiful. Maybe it's the black lining, gives it a very different feel to maybe some of the other Princesses. You know, right the way down to the detailing, this lighting that's in the deck heads is beautiful. It just feels very elevated. You know, at the back here, we've got these big doors that open right up, the window that flicks up. Obviously, you can close that down and make use of the tropical air conditioning this boat's got. The aft galley, we've got this lovely flat floor, which is great. Aft galley arrangements, we know what customer wants because you can service the aft deck, you can service the Flybridge, really well equipped, full-size fridge, freezer below. We've got a 4-burner hob, we've got our oven, we've got a dishwasher, sink, lots of storage. As ever, storage is squeezed in as many places as possible. And then we've got this lovely dining area opposite. So maybe this is for breakfast. This boat does come with stools. So this is, like I say, a stock boat that we've got that's available for purchase. The stools can nestle in underneath the table. Maybe this is where you have breakfast when it's a little bit inclement or it's a bit cool in the morning. But if you want to use it as a smaller space and just have a laptop out, you can. So we step up into the saloon. The windows steal the show, the light and brightness of this boat. Obviously, this being an S-Class yacht, we're sort of borrowing those bits from the V-Series, which is this electric sliding roof, so we can open this right up and naturally ventilate the boat. Or alternatively, we can have it closed and use the air conditioning, which is obviously reverse cycle, so we can heat or cool the boat as appropriate. This massive wrap of seating here, really, really generous. I mean, you can get lots of people around here. Nice coffee table, because obviously we've got other dining areas on the boat, so we don't need to use this for dining. And then on the starboard side, we've got a large TV that's on a rise full, more detailing as to how the boat is finished, just breaking up the joinery on board. Usual sort of Princess glassware, large fridge, there's a great area for drinks. Usual Princess quality, lots of curves in all the joinery that you see on board. You know, we've got these nice inlays here, satin walnut on the back of the helm seats. These helm seats are upgraded. Got this diamond quilt stitching that we get with the allure pack, and it's just the fact that they're leather as well is really nice. This lower helm station is really well equipped. You've got direct access onto the deck with a side door here. Most owners are probably going to drive this from the Flybridge just because it affords such good visibility. But maybe you're on passage, you're on a longer journey, going at slower speed. You know, you are going to drive the boat from down here. It's fully equipped as you'd come to expect. The attention to detail is lovely though. Everything's countersunk here with the instruments. We've got two large Raymarine plotters, 15.6 inches, and then we've got a third one nestled in the middle there, so we can have our electronic engine data on there. And I suppose with these modern boats that are built, you know, very clean in terms of how they're laid out, it's not always obvious what is fitted to the boat. So there are several things that are layered into these MFDs that we can't see. We've got a reverse facing camera, for example. So either helm station, that's going to assist you in docking. Got another camera in the engine bay. But one of the huge options fitted to this boat is the Gyro Seakeeper 18. It's a massive bit of equipment. It really helps with the stability of the boat. It is quite significant in terms of cost, but on a vessel of this size, you're really going to be expecting the latest stabilisation, and that's what that brings to this boat. So a tour of the S65 really wouldn't be complete without a peek into the engine room. Needless to say, the stars of the show are these MAM V12 1400s. It's got 1400 horsepower per side. Obviously, it's going to give this boat some really potent performance. It's obviously an owner's prerogative if they use that performance or just, you know, want to go along at a more leisurely pace. But the nice thing is when you've got the option, you've got flexibility as to how you use that. Other items that we've got in here, we've got our Awning generator. It's a 19 kilowatt. I mentioned the Seakeeper earlier. That's actually in the lazarette area of this boat. So for those that are really keen-eyed, that's why you can't see it in here. But for anyone who's got an engineering interest, it's an absolute delight the way these engine rooms are fitted out. From the noise deadening that we've got everywhere to the installations that are very, very clean. You can get at everything. Everything is labelled. You can get down into the bilges of the boat. It's the attention to detail that distinguishes a Princess engine bay from other competitors out there. I think what we'll do is we'll have a look down below at the accommodation and explore a little bit further. So here on the lower deck, this is the accommodation. It is a 4-cabin boat with 3 heads. It's the same layout as the F65 on this lower deck. So if you're familiar with that boat, it will be identical. But on the starboard side here, we've got a double cabin that can be set out as twins depending on the options. So this one's got the electric option to be able to join those berths straight together with a Jack and Jill into a heads compartment here, can be shared as a day heads. We've got a beautiful midships master cabin, which we'll come back to, but it's really spectacular. We've got a bunk arrangement here on the port side, good sized bunk cabins, and lovely to wake up in that upper bunk because you look straight out in the water. And then we've got this VIP forward, which we're going to explore further. It's a lovely cabin up here forward. Your eye flicks around straight away at all the detail. Lovely curves, joinery, large amounts of light, really discreet LED indirect lighting. Lovely place to spend time. It's going to be a very, very comfortable cabin. We've got this flush mounted 43-inch TV. We've got speakers in the deck head. And then in true Princess fashion, there's storage absolutely everywhere underneath the berth. And as we move over to the port side here, we've got a large lined lit hanging locker, overhead storage as well. You know, there is the usual arrangement where there is a tint on this glass on the outside, but you have got blinds, so you can fully black out the cabin. And then we've got our dedicated ensuite heads here on the port side. Again, generous, lots of elbow space, large shower. We have a shadow pack fitted on this boat, so it just gives it a very modern feel, this black detailing on all the fixtures and fittings, towel rails, the taps, the shower heads. It sort of fits with this very sporty feel that this S-Line has. Let's go and have a look at the master cabin, because that is a treat. So as we drop down a couple of steps here, nestled in the midships, we just open up to this beautiful big midships master cabin, full beam. It's a really large cabin, flat floor, loads of headroom, lots of light from these large aperture windows. Just doesn't do it justice when we're in a marina. But you wake up somewhere with a lovely vista, you're really going to enjoy this. Luxurious, big island berth, but also lots of storage all the way along that starboard side. Some big drawers on the end of the berth there. We've got a flush mount TV on the bulkhead, speakers in the deck heads as well, so you're going to be well entertained in this cabin. And then what really moves it into a different class of boat, much like the F65, is where we've got the head. So we've got the head situated behind this bulkhead. So I think we're just going to explore this area. So here in this master heads compartment, it's very nice the way you just walk around that bulkhead to come in here. So what it means is it gives you a really large cabin. You're not eroding any of that space to accommodate a heads compartment. And then it also gives you this natural air gap, because behind here is our engine room. That will be incredibly well finished, insulated, noise deadening, but there's no substitute for this noise deadening gap before you get to the cabin, which is a fantastic in this class of boat. This shadow lines, we've got these matte finishes everywhere in black, gives it a very contemporary, sporty feel, and that extends to the joinery as well. So on the back of the door, these units here as well, like I say, it gives it a lovely contemporary feel. Large shower compartment, our rainfall shower head there, it's mounted on the deck head. We've also got a separate shower, so hopefully that's something for everyone. And then as we come out of this compartment, we've got big storage, hanging lockers there. But I think what we'll do is we'll head out and just explore the remainder of the exterior. As we step up into the foredeck here, just one thing that's never to be underestimated on a boat is the amount of storage. And we've got these really useful lockers here. They're great because they're so easy to get into. You're not diving down into a deep, inaccessible place. Good for swallowing covers or fenders. Like I say, you've got one on the port side and on starboard. Really not to be underestimated, but really, really handy. And then we're into the foredeck here. This seating area is fantastic. Really clever use of space. It's an evolution for Princess, the way this has been done. You know, this has been seen before, this seating wrap. We've got this nice table here. But really how they've moved the game on is the sunbeds here. You can use them either way. So we've got one set up this way, so a sun pad facing forward. But maybe on the marina in the evening, you want some privacy, you want to have a little drink. You can be nicely opposed to people. It's very sociable layout. Great use of space, and it's a nice evolution that Princess have come up with. Also nestled up here, we've got a drinks area. So this one's been set up with a fridge, so you can leave some water or beer, whatever you want up here during the day. Just saves having to go back down to the boat and bring things up the side deck. Our anchoring arrangement is pretty straightforward. You've got localized controls here. Obviously you can activate the anchor from the lower helm station or on the Flybridge. And then also we've got a little bit more storage. Anchor chain one side, drained locker the other, so good for putting your lines in there. You can put your fenders in those lockers. Got a remote control for the windlass. Yeah, nice straightforward setup, everything thought out. Lots of scupper drains. And I think someone that's used a boat before is going to appreciate the simplicity and just the tried and tested nature of how this has been set up. So the one place we haven't looked at is the Flybridge. Let's go and explore and round our tour off there. So coming up to the Flybridge, handholds everywhere you want them, nice and chunky and supportive. hatch we can close when we're up here. Lovely space up here. It's interesting, it's a slightly different design to some of the other Flybridges we got on the Princesses. It's an evolution, like I say. So we've got our wet bar at the back of the boat, which makes really good sense. Takes any cooking smells out the back of the boat. Large fridge here as well. Drawer fridge that pulls out. That's not your only refrigeration up here. We've got more. Big table, lovely large seating wrap. Can easily get 8 or 10 people round here, which is great. Maybe a couple of stools or director's chairs you can bring up to down below. But I just love the styling. When you're up here, you look at all these curves, the contours, even right the way down to the radar that's been fitted. You know, it's got a Raymarine Cyclone radar. It's an upgrade, but that aesthetic just fits with the sportiness of this boat. I mentioned there's a second fridge up here, so this is sort of nestled behind the co-pilot seat, so no one's going to go thirsty up here. And then we've got this helm station, beautifully appointed, exactly the same as the lower helm station, so everything's countersunk, duplication of all your instruments, very commanding view from up here. And it also gives you a sight line just down that stairwell to the back of the boat. I can see the edge of the swim platform. Obviously we've got the camera there we can rely on as well. Yeah, it's lovely. It's going to be a great place to drive the boat from. And then just neatly nestled behind this wind deflector, we've got a large electric bimini. So that can be use the button there, the motors to take the weight of lifting up into place, because it's a chunky bit of kit with all the stainless steel. And then fore and aft, you can secure it in place with the strops once you've got it up. Over here on the starboard side, we've got a good use of space. We can just slide this off, so we can put an insert in here, make this larger as a sun pad. Just means that when people are on the helm, you can really accommodate. People can be involved in the experience underway. It's not just about dining, but it's just a clever way of cheating the space, you know, with the space we've got available up here. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. This S65 is a stunning yacht. It's not until you see it in person and you realise the presence that it has on the water. If you want to find out more details, our website is princess.co.uk, but there's no substitute for stepping on board. And if you'd like to view this yacht, please do give us a call.